By kindness, we are fed. And that's true for the monastics here at Sravasti Abbey. But in a less apparent or obvious way, it's true for every single person who's eaten a meal today. So we think about this here when we offer our food at lunchtime each day when we do the 5 contemplations. And we start with, I contemplate all the causes and conditions and the kindness of others by which I have received this food. And so here at the Abbey, we just take a moment to reflect briefly on where that food comes from. And if we could spend a really long time on this, we don't in that moment. But throughout the day, perhaps we do, because we think about all the Abbey supporters who made offerings for the food fund, who shop for us. And we can extend that recognition of kindness out to the store workers, the truck drivers who bring the foods to the grocery stores, the farmers, the people who are picking the foods, the seed producers, the pollinators of those seeds, the bees and butterflies. So we see without question that we are fed by kindness. And it also makes us aware that it's a great fortune that we are fed at all, a huge fortune. Now, I know all of us here, and I'm imagining that 99% of the people hearing this talk have eaten or will eat today. In fact, most of us listening here do not experience hunger more than a few hours, or maybe even a few minutes at a time. We have the resources to be able to feed that suffering pretty quickly. And so it's not so terribly present in most of our lives. Yet for close to 1 billion people around the world, including about 37 million children, 37 million people in the United States, hunger is a very real and terrible daily problem. It's the kind of fate that hounds their every step. And worse, actually, according to the World Food Program, each year 10 million people die of hunger and hunger-related illnesses, many of them children. 10 million people dying because they don't have enough food. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha said hunger is the worst illness. It's a pain, really, we can't even, those of us here really can't even relate to in the sense of how profoundly devastating it is for many people. It is pernicious, it is chronic, and we could even say that hunger is a pandemic. And this other pandemic, this new one, is making it worse. So when we think about how dependent we are on other people to feed ourselves, then we have to ask, by whose kindness will those people who are hungry be fed? Who will feed them? Well, Buddhist Global Relief helps to feed them. And we can too. So Buddhist Global Relief is an organization that was founded by Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi, Buddhist scholar and prolific translator, best known for translating the Pali Canon. The organization now supports programs in 20 countries. In 2007, he wrote an article for Buddha Dharma magazine that challenged American Buddhism's neglect of the active dimension of Buddhist compassion that is expressed through social engagement. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama, I've heard him say this many times, he's challenged Buddhists worldwide to learn from our Christian, Jewish, and Muslim brothers and sisters, he says, to engage in more direct service to those who are suffering. So Buddhist Global Relief is a response to that. And some of Venerable Bodhi's students responded to his call. They read his article and followed their teacher's suggestion. They founded Buddhist Global Relief. The mission is to provide direct food aid to people afflicted by hunger and malnutrition, help develop better long-term methods of sustainable food production, so they're not just feeding, they're really helping people to grow food and manage it appropriately, appropriate to their culture. They also promote the education of girls and women, which they've found is the essential, really essential in the struggle against poverty and malnutrition. Giving women a right or an opportunity to start right livelihood projects. And then they raise awareness of global hunger and advocate for international food systems that exemplify social justice worldwide. So we are going to partner with them for the next few weeks. Sravasti Abbey is inviting all of our Dharma friends around the world to help Buddhist Global Relief raise funds to help people feed people for the long term. Normally in the fall, they would be doing walks for the hungry. That's how they do their major fundraising each year. But this year, depending on the cities, I think a couple of cities are actually going to do them live. Most people, most places, it doesn't make any sense. Why raise food for the hungry if you're just going to make people sick from coronavirus? So what they've done is they've asked people to sponsor an event online. And Sravasti Abbey said, yes, we'd be glad to do that. So on October 17th, we will have a hour and a half or 2 hour a Dharma session day. Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi will be there, Venerable Thupten Chodron will share, Venerable Sangye Kadro will share. You'll also hear from the Sravasti Abbey monastics. And the theme of that day's teachings, meditations, we'll do some chanting, is by kindness we are fed. That day's event is the culmination of the next 3 weeks where people can get involved right away. 3 ways. First, you can go to the Buddhist Global Relief website right now. On the homepage, there's a thing that says Action to Feed the Hungry. Click that, and there is a Sravasti Abbey event page. You can put your name right there and sign up for our event, and at the same time, you can make a contribution. Secondly, you can invite your friends and make what they're calling a mindful movement pledge. So mindful movement is anything. If you want to do a certain number of prostrations between now and October 17th for the sake of those who are hungry and invite people to support you to do that, do your prostrations, purifying every time that you didn't feed people when you could have, or all the possible ways that purification would make sense in doing your prostrations. If you want to do walking meditation, certain number of circumambulations around our Buddha here for this crowd, but in your own house, you can circumambulate the Buddha and invite people to support your activities. Or if you're a runner or a jogger or a walker, or even if some people are out swimming again, any kind of movement that you can invite people to support you for, get their pledges and invite them to also support Buddhist Global Relief. And then thirdly, join us online on October 17th at 10 a.m. Pacific time and share in all the activities that we're doing together. And of course, we'll invite you to give again. On the Abbey website, you can just go to our events page. The event is up there, and that will also direct you to Buddhist Global Relief. Or you can just Google Buddhist Global Relief and find them. But it's a wonderful opportunity to bring the Buddhist community together, which we don't see so much here in the US. The Tzu Chi Foundation, of course, is the most famous, I think, humanitarian Buddhist organization in the world. And they do have branches in the US, but Buddhist Global Relief is homegrown here, although we will be reaching out far beyond here to invite people for this particular effort. On a personal level, when I was about 3 years old, as I have said, you know, I was born to teenage parents. They didn't have much resource, and my mother, of course, had to drop out of school because they didn't allow you to bring babies to school in those days. So we were quite poor when I was a small child, and we were well supported. But I have this vision of being 3 years old, so she must have then had 3 kids by then, and it must have been a holiday. I don't remember the context around it, but some ladies came to the door, probably from my grandmother's church, with a basket. The basket had a ham. That's the thing I most vividly remember. I'm not sure even what else was in the basket. But what I do remember is the look on my mother's face to receive that kindness. I can't even describe it. It was a relief, it was surprise, probably embarrassed knowing my mother, but just such a gift to know that whatever the occasion was, her children would be fed today. And well, because it was a ham and I remember. So on a really personal level, but all of us have these stories actually of having witnessed help or having received help. So we can imagine these mothers, so many of them, and their children thinking day by day by day by day, how will this child get fed? And so it's something that Buddhist Global Relief thinks about every day. And we can help them for this period of time. So we really invite everyone to join in and then join us on October 17th. Yes, Venerable. Sorry, the question was, how do you join the Buddhist Global Relief event? You sign up at Buddhist Global Relief. Our website will direct you there, but you sign up online to get the Zoom link, and that they will send it to you at that time. Thanks.